Hey, Pastor Steve Waldron, New Life Pentecostal Church, Albany, Georgia. Glad you're here with us today. We're doing a journey through the book of Proverbs, and this is lesson number 17, verse by verse journey. We're glad you're here with us today, and we're in Proverbs 7, verse 12, and this poor guy has been seduced by the harlot. So let's see. And it has a physical thing that, women should conduct themselves a certain way, men should conduct themselves a certain way, but it has a spiritual connotation too, to not be taken in by false religion. So because in the Old Testament, so often you had spiritual idolatry, spiritual adultery, so to speak. So let's get going. I remember one of my first converts when we started a church in McDonough. He thought all adultery in the Old Testament was spiritual and that he could commit adultery because as long as he didn't commit idolatry. I'm like, no, that's not true. So let's go to verse 12. Now is she without, now in the streets, and lieth in wait at every corner. And this is talking about the woman wanting to seduce the unsuspecting. So the man needs to be strong enough to withstand temptation. That needs to be something we teach our young people and older people to withstand temptation. And don't go, there's certain websites you just don't need to go to because they will seduce you. All right, so verse 13, so she caught him and kissed him, and with an impudent face said unto him, this is verse 13, and so impudent means no shame. And so remember in Jeremiah when it talks about a whore's forehead, 1 Timothy 2 talks about shamefacedness. So an impudent face is just one that is like brazen. You can kind of picture a Jezebel. This was the original workings of makeup and all this, even back into Egypt. But also, what is that? 2 Kings 9:30 or 1 Kings 9:30? I forget. I think it's 2 Kings 9:30 with Jezebel. In verse 14, this woman says, I have peace offerings with me. This day have I paid my vows. And so she's acting real pious, Verse 15, therefore came I forth to meet thee. Now, she was just wanting to seduce somebody, diligently to seek thy face, and I have found thee. It's like Winston Churchill said, he said, I've known many women who have never committed adultery. He said, I don't know any that have done it just once. Because it seems like something that just gets a hold of them. Soap operas. I remember one time a soap opera thing came on TV. I don't own a TV, haven't in many decades. And so, but it was like listing the 10 Commandments and it was advertising the soap opera. Oh God. So ladies, you have a higher purpose in life than to try to seduce people and to hunt for the precious life. The adulteress will hunt for the precious life. And men, you have a higher purpose. God's called you for a purpose, and it is not to be seduced. So think about it. And so Proverbs is a very practical book, isn't it? And so verse 16, I have decked my bed with coverings of tapestry. This was way before Target started. It didn't just start with Target, with carved works, with fine linen of Egypt. And we still talk about Middle Eastern linen and all this, mostly Turkish though. Verse 17, I have perfumed my bed with myrrh, aloes, and cinnamon. So pheromones, is that how you pronounce that? I don't know. But all this seduction, this is found in the Bible. The Bible will teach you things if you will let it. It's real life. Verse 18, come, let us take our fill of love until the morning. Nope, they're going to be, full of sex, but not love. Love is something far deeper than that. Read 1 Corinthians 13, verses 4 through 8. Let us solace ourselves with loves. I'm so hurt, I'm so bruised because I'm in this bondage of a marriage, but you can fulfill me. Nope, if they'll cheat on you or cheat with you, they'll cheat on you. So that's the general rule of thumb. For the goodman is not at home, he is gone a long journey. Now I find all this fascinating that God's using Solomon to write this. Then he's seduced. He's got like 1,000 wives and concubines. He's worshiping false gods. And, read the Song of Solomon, men can seduce women too. It goes both ways. This is just talking about women seducing men, but it can go, men can seduce women too. But that's the reason it's got this huge typology of spiritual wickedness and false religion. Even some of the same Hebrew words. Let us solace ourselves with loves. Verse 19, for the goodman is not at home. He is gone a long journey. So shall your want come as one that traveleth. Be careful there. Verse 20, he hath taken a bag of money with him and will come home at the day appointed. So you don't have to worry, because jealousy is the rage of man, that he's going to walk in on you, because they didn't have cell phones or anything back then. You don't have to worry about this. That's what she's saying. Verse 21, with her much fair speech, she caused him to yield. And this is the woman seducing with the man. There's actually scientific studies on this. I remember reading a book by Moody Press on this one time. But there's times, a lady can talk in certain tones of voice, and a man's blood flow actually increases, and he's unable to think properly. His blood flow, actually the vessels constrict, and it's like, blah, blah, blah. All right. Caused him to yield, and the flattering of her lips she forced him. Oh, not playing the ego card. Yep. So verse 22, he goeth after her straightway as an ox goeth to the slaughter. Yep. Or as a fool to the correction of the stocks. Oh, yep. Just because they're trying to seduce you doesn't mean they love you. A lot of women just want to prove they can get a guy from, let's say, a married person. I remember years ago when I was studying something on holiness that they referenced a Seinfeld episode. And on that episode, they said the guys would actually wear wedding rings because the women were attracted to guys with wedding rings, because they would then know that they're conquering somebody else's woman, that they're able to do that. That's one power. And the second thing is then they didn't have to have any commitment because he was already married. So there you are. It's a matter of the heart, not a matter of the wedding ring. So verse 23, till a dart strike through his liver, and as a bird hasteth to the snare, and knoweth not that it is for his life. I mean, not only is he destroying himself, it says in Proverbs 6, their blot doesn't go out. Job talks about this in Job, 31, has a long soliloquy on this. But think of all the diseases and all this kind of stuff. I mean, it's just a bad deal. It's soul ties, all kinds of stuff. Verse 24, long story about soul ties, but it is everybody that you've ever been intimate with like that, you keep their DNA. It's what they say. Verse 24, hearken unto me now, therefore, O ye little children, and attend to the words of my mouth. Attendance. Let not thine heart decline to her ways. Go not astray in her paths. That means don't get on her OnlyFans account. Don't go to her Instagram page. Stop. And I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to stop right there and go into the next time, because it's pretty amazing. And then in chapter 8, we see wisdom crying. And true wisdom as a female is seen attenuated against the wisdom of this world. And we're seeing it play out in our generation, our society, our culture today. God bless. We love you. Listen to the playlist. We're able to put these on playlist, at least temporarily. We're very thankful for that. And share with your friends. Put it on social media. God bless. Talk with you later in Jesus' name.